Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments and I live in the Villages. Every week I take a look at the real estate market here. If you're trying to determine whether prices are going up or down and what the pressures are on prices, this is the show for you. Our data is fresh as of today. For those who don't know, I'll give you a brief introduction to the Villages. It's like living in a resort. We have championship golf, executive golf, shopping, dining, live entertainment at four town squares, 365 days of the year. And no matter your interest, you will find one of the 3,000 plus clubs where people will share it. If you want to know what long term trends are on prices, price per square foot, how many homes are selling, where in the villages they're selling, this is the show for you. A couple of things to note. Villages has two distinct marketplaces, real estate marketplaces, that is, the VLS and the MLS. The VLS is the village's own internal listing service. It's the only marketplace on which you'll find new homes listed, but pre-owned homes are on both MLS and VLS. What this means is that if you're not looking at homes on both the VLS and the MLS, you'll only be seeing about half of the properties for sale here. If you're trying to find a good deal here, please reach out to me at either DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you. Similarly, if you're trying to sell your home and looking to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. We produce a show every week. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. And if you find the information valuable, please consider liking the video or even better, subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. The Villages is a special place to live. Most residents rarely leave. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening here this week. We start every week by taking a look at what's happening with interest rates. Real estate is usually financed, even though buyers here in the Villages predominantly are paying cash. They usually have to sell a home elsewhere in the country to generate that cash. That buyer needs a mortgage. The cost of money, i.e., mortgage rates, will affect the value of real estate ultimately. As you can see, the Villages is located in central Florida. We're about an hour north of Orlando, about an hour and a half from coasts on east and west. Although, as I mentioned, most residents rarely go to the beaches here since we have pools and other amenities so conveniently located. The maps you're looking at are showing you all active listings on the MLS as of today. The size of the property is the size of the circle. Larger the circle, larger the home, and the color represents the price per square foot. The higher the price per square foot, the lighter the color. Obviously, if you use a tool like this, deals become more readily apparent. Let's start by taking a look at all listings. The total number of MLS listings this week is 682, up very slightly from last week when it was 681, but 682 is a new record, the highest number of listings we've seen thus far in the Villages. Now let's dive into these listings and see where in the Villages they're located and how the different regions of the Villages differ both in availability and in price. I'll show you the difference between the regions. The first is the area that I'm calling the north. This is everything south of 42 and north of 466. Once again, we're looking at size and price per square foot. The second area is the area I'm calling the mid-north. This is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. The third area is the area that I'm calling the mid-south. This is everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. And the final area is the area that I'm calling the South. This is everything south of Highway 44. And over the last several months, we've seen an increasing number of listings there. This is the newest part of the Villages. We're seeing resales starting to appear now with some frequency there. Before we look at the individual areas of the Villages and the differences between them, let's take a look at all listings. Here we're looking at the median list price per square foot for all active MLS listings, down very slightly today to 256.87. It certainly appears, looking at this graph, that prices have been in a very, very gentle downtrend for the last 8 months or so. This is the median time on the market for all MLS listings, 56 days. We are still elevated till late last year. We really had seen only a few weeks with more than 50 days on the market as the median time. We're getting used to that level now. It's been elevated above 50 days for the last 6 months. One more look at all listings before we look at the different regions. You can see here the total number of MLS listings this week is 682. Sizes range from 672 square feet to 3620. Prices from 135,000 to 1,500,000. And on a price per square foot basis, properties in the villages range from $104 a foot to $541. Before we start analyzing the differences, let's take a look at the regions. I'm going to show you three maps for each. You can see the properties that are active in the north. This week, 286. Last week, 281. These are the properties on this map that have gone pending in the north over the last 60 days. They number 96. Previous 60 days saw 99. And these are the properties in the north that sold over the last 60 days. They numbered 122. Previous week, they numbered 124. Now we move to the mid-north, probably the most popular part of the villages currently due to its proximity to so many amenities. This week, 183 active listings. Previous week, 186. Number of properties going pending over the last 60 days numbered 68. Last week, it was 71. Properties selling over the last 60 days in the mid-north numbered 105. Last week, 98. This is the Mid-South, the area between 466A and 44. Currently, 104 active listings this week. Last week, there were 108. The number of homes going pending in this region over the previous 60 days is 27. Last week, it was 22. And the properties selling over the last 60 days numbered 30. Previous week, 31. And finally, the South. This is the newest part of the villages. This week, 109 active listings. Last week, 106. Properties when pending over the last 60 days number 24. Last week it was 22. And the number of properties selling over the last 60 days also numbered 24. Previous week also 22. I'm giving you this brief table to give you an overview as to changes in the numbers of properties going active, pending, or selling. You can see this week in the north there are 286 active listings. Last week 281. As you go through this list, you can find active, pending, and homes sold. Pending and sold are for the prior 60 days. If the cell is highlighted in red, that represents a decrease from the previous week. If it's in green, it represents an increase from the previous week. As you just saw, there is a difference in terms of activity between the different regions. This helps you narrow down the actual differences between them. For example, you can see that in the north, there are 286 active listings this week. Sizes in the north range from 672 square feet to 3,087, with 1,404 square feet the median. Prices in the north from 135,000 to just under a million, with 334 the median. And on a per foot basis, prices range from 104 to 446, with 233 the median. For those of you looking for a deal, I have this bonus. This map is showing you all properties that have been on the MLS for 6 months or longer. Once again, the size represents the size of the home, and the lighter the circle, the more expensive per square foot. We're going to take an in-depth look at homes that sold and went pending over the last week. But before we do, let's take a look at the list price per foot, which varies depending on how much the home itself costs. I do focus a lot on per square foot numbers, but it's important to note that that variable does not capture a lot of amenities that are very valuable to home buyers here, such as location, privacy, views, things of that sort. Looking at properties on a per foot basis doesn't capture any of those variables, but it is a good starting point. The way to interpret this chart is as follows. The median listing price per square foot for all listings is $256.87. For the homes that are under 200,000, of which there are 14, the price per square foot varies between $104 and $216 a foot. Whereas if you look at the most active price segment, the $200,000 to $400,000 range, there are 380 properties active on the MLS this week. Prices per square foot range from 142 to 340 a foot, with 242 the median. There is still only one property priced at more than $1.5 million available on the Villages MLS. That price per square foot equates to $428 a foot. Now we'll look at the change in the market, the real estate market here over the last week, i.e. how many new listings were added and how many homes were removed because of going pending. The graph is showing you a 4-week average, as is that print of 11.5 negative, i.e. more new listings than homes going pending. This graph certainly reveals that even though pending home sales have been increasing, new listings have been increasing at an even faster rate. The previous graph gives rise to this one, which is just the difference between new listings and pending home sales. The actual print is a -2. It is still negative, but certainly we're not seeing 20 more new listings than homes going pending as we did just a few weeks ago. We're going to cover the same format for pending home sales and homes that closed, i.e. I'll show you the median list price per foot and also how many days these properties have been on the market. The homes that went pending over the last 7 days had been on the market a median 58 days. Even though the median time has dropped quite significantly over the last 2-3 weeks, we are still a lot higher than we've seen over the last 4 years generally. This is the median price per square foot for the homes that went pending over the last 7 days, 251.74. This is a slight increase over the reading we saw last week, but anything under or close to 250 is causing sellers distress here. And this is evidence of the distress. Here we're looking at what the median price change was from the original asking price for the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. We're up to a 6.67% median reduction. This is not the highest that we've seen, but the increase in pending price reductions from the original list price has been increasing since December or so. Here we look at sales activity. This is the number of sales that closed over the last 7 days. The 39 you see is a 4-week moving average. The actual print was 38. I'll show you how to get some perspective on this number. It appears as if sales are increasing steadily, but as I'll show you coming up, that is not the case. I often get asked about seasonal factors, and so we developed this chart to give you some idea as to how this year compares to previous years. You see the weeks of the year on the x-axis at the bottom and the number of sales per week on the y-axis to the left. The 2022 figures are the dark blue, 2023 light green, 2024 in red. Series 4 should be 2025. That is the sales per week for this year. We have been increasing since January, but we are at the height of the selling season now, and we need to see sales maintain this volume at least if we want to see inventory levels start to come down. Another way of looking at the same data, this is cumulative sales for the year. Once again, green 2023, dark blue 2024, and the mismarked Series 4 is 2025. We are certainly above 2023 levels, but we remain, as of the last 2 weeks, below 2024 levels. And I'll point out that this year inventory is about 80% higher than it was last year. So sales per week certainly will need to exceed 2024 levels if we want inventory overhang to cease being a problem here. Quick look at how long the homes that closed last week were on the market. 55 days, the median time. I'll point you to the fact that even though it has dropped over the last week or so, for the last year or so, it has been climbing steadily from about 20 to almost triple that number. This chart shows us the median price per square foot realized on the homes closing last week. The 246 is a 4-week moving average, as is the graph. The actual reading last week was exactly $250 a foot. Even though it's a smooth 4-week average, it seems as if levels around 245 are becoming the new normal here. And this chart certainly bears comment. This is the percentage of listings on the MLS that have reduced their asking price from the original list price. This week, 59.82% have. The highest level that we saw in July of 2023 was 59.94, so we're very close to that level now. It's interesting also looking at this to see that it was just very recently that less than half the houses had reduced their asking price, and we're currently closing in on 2 out of 3. But this graph is more encouraging. This is the median price reduction from the original list price for all MLS listings as of today, 4.35%, the median reduction. We had been over 4.5 and heading to 5. It's of some encouragement seeing it at 4.35 and heading lower. Before I close, I want to leave you with the thought that if you're a buyer and you see the level of inventory where it is and the price per square foot under pressure, you may feel that now is not a good time to buy. The worst time to buy is when buyers are enthusiastic, and that is represented by prices nearing highs. When buyers are depressed, that's the time that you will find a deal. Buy low, sell high. You cannot buy low while there's exuberance in the air. So I'd caution you that even though this may seem like a buyer's market, and it may very well be, the time for buyers to act is during a buyer's market before things turn around, because when they turn around, prices will reflect that. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal here in the villages, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to answer any questions you have. Or if you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, you're looking for an idea as to what the property is worth, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to answer questions about life in Central Florida or the villages itself. I hope to hear from you. Take care.